Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. Here is your host.
Hey creatives, this is Roland and welcome to the Writer's Creative Space, a space where you as an author or aspiring author can get inspiration, advice, tips and encouragement on your self-publishing journey. This is episode 8 and today I will be talking to you about putting aside the excuses so that you can write. Now, if left to their own, excuses can stop you from accomplishing your author goals and any kind of goals in general. But more on that later in the show. Let's get into some other news. I have been learning a lot from Ricardo Fayet's book, How to Market a Book, Overperform in a Crowded Market. It's been a brilliant book until now. This is, if I remember correctly, this is the first time I have said something negative about his book. I've been enjoying his book, but then as I was reading his book recently, he started getting into absolutes. And what I mean by absolutes is when you're talking about don't do this and don't do that, or if you do this way, you will get this type of result, or if you decide to do it another way, prepare to not succeed. I mean, these were not his specific words, but this is the gist that I got from what he was saying when he was talking about these absolutes. Why I have a problem with this is the very essence of being an indie author is the fact that you are creating a new path. There is no set way for an indie author. You are creating your own rules. You don't have to be limited by anything as an indie author. Anything goes. There is freedom to try out new things. And if you fail, you can try again another way. Whereas a traditional published author has to abide by some very strict rules, and there is very little room to maneuver, and I understand that, and in that setting that's fine. But as a self-published author, we have freedom, we have liberty, we don't live in the box, we live outside the box. So there's so much opportunity to do new things and just try out different things. But like I said, I see a problem when rules are being introduced to the indie space, because very soon we will be back in the same position as a traditional published author with rules and regulations that cannot be broken. And that is why, like I said, I have an issue when Ricardo was now getting into absolutes, because it seemed like he was now getting back into putting us back into the box. Let me just say it that way, putting us back in a box where we are not supposed to live in a box. Now, please understand what I am saying here. I am not advocating we throw out everything and write a mediocre book, or don't spend time and money on editing, or create a subpar cover and so on. That's not what I'm saying. We should be aware that there are universal principles that we need to abide by when writing any book, no matter the genre, and we shouldn't ignore them. We should do our research to find them out. I mean, things like write a great book, because content really does matter. There's no way you can skim or hide from that, right? Have a great cover, create a great cover, or pay for a great cover, but have a great cover. Write a captivating book description or blurb, right? Take time and invest money in professional editing. Make your book the best that it can. Learn to format your book correctly, or get someone that knows how to do that. These are what I mean by universal principles when you're writing a book. But outside of this, I think everything else is game. There's no set rules. There's no set path to do anything as a self-published author. If you are traditional published, then there's a lot more you have to abide by. But as a self-published author, everything is open season. It is game. And that's why I was saying that when he was getting into his absolutes, I was like, no, that you're restricting me now. You're putting chains on me now. You're saying I can't do this or I can't do that. And whereas if I take the time to learn how to create a great cover, I could possibly do it. Or if I take the time to learn how to create great content, then I can do that. And that's the liberty, that's the freedom that we have as indie authors. So yes, I keep on harping on this point, but let me move on. But I just want to make that point that as a self-published author, we don't live in the box. So anyway, like I said, that is the only thing, the only problem I had with Ricardo's book so far. So let's move on to the main topic of the day, which is putting aside our excuses. My writing journey is littered with excuses. I made so many excuses on my writing journey. It's crazy. And at the time, they seemed legit. I had very good reasons. Well, I thought they were very good reasons, but I realized that I was hiding behind my excuses. And later on in my writing journey, as I examined the excuses, I realized that there was something else going on. There was another culprit. There was another person pulling the strings behind the excuses. And for me, that person was fear. I was afraid of the outcome. What if no one bought my book? I thought, did I have anything worth to say? And all these things contributed to the fear that I had. And because I had that fear, I made excuses. And because I made excuses, I didn't make any progress. So excuses will stop you from making any kind of progress. So my question to you is, what excuses are you making today or right now? Because you need to look under the hood and find out what's really going on. It's time to put aside the excuses so that you can accomplish the goals that you've set for yourself. Don't let excuses rob you of an amazing and exciting journey that is prepared for you, because you have something to say, and there are people that need to read what you have to say. You have the answer to a problem someone is dealing with, so it's time to put aside the excuses. Going back to me, when I put aside my excuses, that is when I started to see results. I have grown so much as a writer and as an author in the past year, all because I put aside my excuses. And there is so much more in store for me, but I wouldn't have experienced all that if I kept making excuses. So, as I come to the end of this episode, my encouragement to you is to stop hiding behind the excuses. Go under the hood and find out what is really going on behind the scenes so that you can put them aside and write and accomplish your goals. It's time to get that book started, or it's time to finish that book. And you are not alone. If you need help, find someone you trust. And this is what this page is for. If you need accountability and help, reach out. I'm on my Facebook page or in the comments below, or email me. I would love to help you out and just keep you accountable. So with that, I have come to the end of the episode. What stood out to you as you listen to the show? What excuses are you making? Leave a comment in the comment section below, or reach out to me on my Facebook page, The Writers Creator Space, or my YouTube channel or blog. I would love to hear from you. And please share this episode if you enjoyed it. So until next time, keep safe and keep writing.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.